Welcome to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast, powered by LPT Realty, Real Estate Reimagined, with your host, the one and only Betsy Tinnervin. On this podcast, we bring you people who share their personal journeys in life, business, and of course, real estate. Get motivated, inspired, and priceless information from entrepreneurs, community leaders, and realtors who are thriving. Now let's get raw and real. Here's Betsy.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinnervin, in the studio today. LPT Realtor and a part of the Tampa Bay Investments team. I am happy to be here and be back with all of our listeners. We appreciate everyone that takes the time to listen to our show, where we bring you the raw and real of life, business, and of course, real estate. There are some people that you just meet in your life and they're in it for a reason or a season. And when I met this person, her energy just bleeds throughout other people. She's caring, she's giving, she truly loves what she does in the real estate industry, and she's constantly paying it forward to other people. So I am honored to have her entire squad in the studio today. We obviously couldn't have everyone in here, but you're going to meet a couple critical people that are on her team. I have Miss Tammy Chancey with the Team Chancey, but she's also with LPT Realty, and she is a realtor who is currently thriving in the market and then running an amazing team. How are you doing, Miss Tammy?
I'm great. I'm so happy to be here today.
I just love everything about what you do, your energy. You're literally one of those people that if you're having a bad day and you don't reach out to Tammy Chancey, you're not doing yourself justice.
Well, thank you so much. I feel the same about you.
I love when you participate in trainings and you just bring your team in and you really dedicate your time to everything that you're doing. Talk about Team Chancey a little bit.
So we are a new team. So in the past, it was just my husband and I, and we've grown to 15 people now. A lot of our team's brand new, just fresh off taking their state test. So we're all learning together and we're super excited. We're spread out all over between Pasco, Polk, Hillsborough, and we're just excited because they have the hustle and they know what we did last year won't work for this year. And so they're just excited to grow and serve the community and be the best that they could be.
I love that a lot of the basis of Team Chancey too is really plugging in. I know that you're very plugged in the Plant City community and even kind of bleeding out to Lakeland a little bit. So definitely later in the show, I want to talk about how Tammy uses serving others to also feed her business. And in return, she's helping so many people. So we're very excited to have you here today.
Thank you. And we're happy to be here.
I also have a member of her team here who I've also gotten to know. And if you have not gone to her Facebook page or looked up the hashtag bald title rep, you are definitely missing out because she is driving down the street in her car, lifting people up, doing tons of like motivational stuff. And I have Michelle Valdez. Did I nail that, Michelle?
Yes, perfect.
And you are an LPT realtor now. You've joined the LPT community. You are now in an amazing title company, the Bald Title Rep with National Title Solutions. And then you also run Operation Pay It Forward. So I'm so excited to have you here, Michelle.
I'm excited to be here, Betsy. It's just a good time to be serving right now.
It is. And I think that what's crazy about watching you and Tammy's partnership is you guys really partnered within the community, serving the community prior to you becoming an LPT realtor on her team, correct?
We both have a love for serving the community and helping others, and that's definitely a bond that we brought together.
And I know that I definitely want to hear later in the story the hashtag bald title rep, because I've had the privilege of hearing this story. So I definitely want you and Tammy to share that later on in the show. So for all the listeners out there, we also know most women have a head full of hair, not Miss Michelle. And there's a story behind it on why she did it and how she did it. And we're definitely going to tell that later in the show. I have Mr. Nate Davis here. How you doing, Nate?
I'm doing fantastic. How you doing?
Good. And you are with the Florida Mortgage Firm.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you are the preferred mortgage lender with the Tammy Chancey's team, Team Chancey.
That's correct.
And I heard that you've been doing mortgages quite a while.
Yeah, I've been, for about 15 years now. We started and about to celebrate our 15th year anniversary. It's pretty cool. It's been a very exciting growth because all grassroots, homegrown. We're not a Wall Street company. We're a local boutique service that has managed to grow volume through providing that level of service that it sounds kind of like an oxymoron, but it's very real. If you just take care of people the way that your grandparents taught you, the business will flourish and grow over time.
I love that. And I also heard you're very involved in the community as well.
Yes. I'm like anybody, I try to do the right things, but I wouldn't pat myself on the back for any of it. It's just, when you see an opportunity to help someone, I think that's the way to live.
I think what is really great just about the catalyst and connector that real estate is bringing people together, whether it's realty, mortgage, title, whoever it is, that all have the same vision and goals and values. And I think, Tammy, that's what's so important about what you've done, going from being with you and your husband to now growing out this team and creating this platform. Talk about why and how, and just even the relationship Michelle, Nate, and yourself have.
So we are very involved in the community, and I love that Nate and Michelle support Team Chansey 110%. So if there's anything, we've got community, whether it's chili cook-off, whether it's back to school, him and his wife are just there to just help in any way that they can. And I love that in numbers, we're able to do so much more. And now having a team has been a blessing, because now we're able to double that work and do so much more in the community. At first I was scared. You and I have had this talk about our dads and mentoring, and my dad's like, you were safe where you were, but you're going to fall forward and try this and make it work and build a team, because I know you can do it. And one thing he said is, ships are safe in the harbor, but that's not where I ever taught you to stay. So take this out. I'm so glad he gave me that word of advice to just not stay comfortable. We grow and we stretch when we're out of our comfort zone. And Robert Palmer has given us the tools to feel uncomfortable, but make us feel where we could actually tackle anything. And so I'm real excited for the team and be able to partner up. These two are a great asset to have in our community. And he's very humble and he's not going to tell all the things that he does. There's huge accolades. And so we enjoy the partnership that we're very blessed to have him in the community, and obviously Michelle and everything they do with Operation Pay It Forward. But Plant City is a different community, and it's unique. It's a culture of love and giving back. And so I'm real excited that our team's able to do that. And I would not want to do it with anyone but you guys.
And I would even add that both Tammy and Michelle, this is how they live. This isn't like a section of their business where it's like, okay, I got my company and now I'm gonna do this little community outreach part. This is how they lived, and it's just the business got added into it later. So all they're doing is continuing who they are naturally, serving the community who they are naturally. And I think that's what makes them successful in business, because if you can take your mind and put it in the mindset of others and be thinking about other people and how you can help them accomplish something that they're trying to attain, then business is just going to fall, and so does success.
I think the biggest thing about our industry is that, real estate and finance and title work, the real estate business is such a cutthroat industry. When you find what your gift is, and then you bleed that together with passion and purpose, now you're really winning. Because for me, the teaching piece, the speaking piece, the radio show piece, that's the gift. But what do I really love? It's the people and connecting people. So I can't agree with you more, Nate, that I think with Michelle and Tammy and their energy and what they do, they took that and they bled that into their careers. It wasn't the career and then just going to serve people to say, hey, I'm Team Chansey serving. She was already doing all of that.
Correct.
Now she's cloned herself at a 50% level and a 60% level, and then brought all these people in. So I love that. Michelle, what exactly is Operation Pay It Forward?
So Operation Paying It Forward is a nonprofit organization started back in 2018. My mother died in 2005 from cancer, and it kind of left me in a hard place. My mother was my rock. She was my everything. And as soon as she passed away, I went into a year of hiding, to tell you the truth. And it kind of hit me hard. I went into like a deep depression, and I went to many counselors, and I finally found a counselor that told me one person at a time. My mom was a super cook. She loved to cook. I could order a mean takeout, but I'm not a cook. And literally, I started to do random acts one person at a time. My friends caught on to what I was doing. They literally started to give me 10, 20, 30 bucks here, and I started to pay it forward. I'd stand in the grocery line, see who's having a hard time, and I'd try to help them. And then finally in 2018, the acts started getting bigger. 2018, a sponsor came up to me and said, hey, here's the money, start your nonprofit. And from there, we literally hit the ground running and started doing bigger and better things, helping more in the community.
I love that. And we're going to talk after the break, too, just about how extreme you took the Operation Pay It Forward into also becoming the bold title rep. And I know that in your career as a whole, you have been in the real estate, title, mortgage. How long, Michelle?
Wow, I've been in the real estate industry on all sides of the table for almost over 20 years.
And you've dibbled and dabbled in all of them.
All of them.
So you know the process from start to finish.
The experience on all sides of the table has just brought me the tools to even make me a better person who I am today to help others.
I love that. And I think it's really important for all agents out there to know that when you're partnering with mortgage professionals or title companies, and then obviously buyers, sellers, and investors, when you're looking for a real estate agent, it needs to be someone that is seasoned. And if they are a new agent, that's fine. As long as they're a part of a team like Team Chansey, where they have a leader such as Tammy, and they do have seasoned people on the team, they can guide you appropriately. We want everyone to download that iHeartRadio app, whether you are doing laundry, at the gym, running errands today. We hope that you are listening with us, as in segments 2, 3, and 4, we're going to give you a really cool story about how Michelle actually shaved her head, which I love and I'm fascinated by. Tammy and Nate are going to dive deep into real estate and finance. So we're going to take a commercial break and we'll see you after the break.
The best comp plans ever in stock and revenue share, but if we're not closing real estate transactions, all of that is worthless, because ultimately everything starts with a real estate transaction, which starts with a consumer. And so we wanted to arm our agents with the absolute best technology and best marketing tools to do more real estate. And that's, again, I think a big differentiator. I think very few brokerages really sit down and say, how do we provide tools to make sure that our agents can be more productive, sell more real estate, win more listings, win at more listing appointments, help more buyers find that home, and we're very focused on that. And so while we have the best comp plans and the best ways for agents to generate wealth and earn, we also have the best tools, and more importantly, I would say have the best tools to help you be successful in real estate.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinervin with LPT Realty. We want to thank Mr. Robert Palmer and all the LPT executive staff and just LPT Realty as a whole that makes this radio show happen. We bring you the raw and real of life, business, and of course, real estate. Today, we have an amazing group of people here. This room is just filled with joy and compassion, just very strong-willed people that bleed into the community. I love them to death, and I'm honored to have them here. Tammy Chansey with Team Chansey, an LPT agent and a team leader. Michelle Valdez, who is an LPT realtor, and she is also the Bald Title Rep. Hashtag Bald Title Rep bleeds throughout Facebook with National Title Solutions. She also runs a non-for-profit operation, Pay It Forward, as well as Mr. Nate Davis with Florida Mortgage Firm. He has done some amazing things in the community and truly gives back. And as a mortgage professional, he is Tammy's preferred mortgage lender. We're going to circle back with him about a really cool story that has to do with Kelly Clarkson and People Magazine. Can't wait to hear that, but I'm going to kick it off with my girl, Michelle. Michelle, it's not hashtag bald title rep for no reason, right? You actually are bald, correct?
Yes, there's no hair on my head right now.
For all of the listeners out there, it is hashtag bald title rep because you are bald.
Correct.
We are not lying about this. We are not hyping it up. Michelle Valdez is bald.
Yep, that's the name, Bald Title Rep.
And how long have you been bald for, Michelle?
I've literally been bald since January 24th, 2019, the day of my birthday.
And the plan was, because you and I have had this talk before, that you were going to shave your head, but you were going to grow the hair back.
That was the plan, actually. I was going to try to grow it back, but literally I've talked to so many people. I've made, agreements with the Shriners to visit teenagers that, have lost their hair, and it's crazy. I'm still bald.
And so, first of all, do you feel different now that you're bald?
The first year I got a lot of looks. I got a lot of smart comments said to me walking into different places. But you know what? After I sat with teenagers and I sat with a little 5-year-old girl called Levi, which is who I originally shaved it for, and she rubbed my head when she lost her hair, and I went into the hospital room and she rubbed my head and said, just like me, I didn't care what nobody else said.
So let's talk about what happened, why we shaved our head, what that event was like, because Tammy, you were at the event, correct?
I was. Yeah. It was an amazing day. I will never, ever forget that day.
So I think what's really cool is just to show the longevity of you guys' relationship and the support that you have for each other. So Tammy was present for this event. And what was the event, Michelle?
So it was going bald for a cause. The goal was to raise money for 2 families, 2 little kids that were needing help. Basically in 2018, when I got the designation for the 501c3, we hit the ground running. And in that November, I had 2 families come to my organization asking for help. Then I went to my board, and there was 8 people sitting at the table. One of them was actually an ex-cheerleader for the Bucks. You know they're not going to cut their hair. I had some other people sitting on the table, and I literally went to them and I said, let's go do something big for these families. Mind you, I had hair down to my waist. Everybody at the table had hair, and they're all looking at their hair. And I literally said, let's go big. Let's all shave our heads. They all looked at me like I was crazy. And then they were like, look, we'll set up the event. You shave your hair. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So literally,
they said, we'll plan the event, but you're going bald.
Exactly. So
okay.
I literally stood on the corner with a 4x6 sign that says, going bald for a cause, come support. And literally, we did a live thing on Bay News 9. It was also casted to the Shriners, where one of the other kids were in the hospital. And literally, we set it up. I had the city commissioner come out, take a couple whacks at my head, and we did it all live on Facebook. Bay News 9 aired it as well. And it just took off from there. So on the day of my birthday, we literally shaved my head bald. We had a whole ceremony. It was great. We raised money. The family got a car donated to them. We were able to raise money for both families to help them out. We can't pay medical bills, but we're able to help them with other things. And it was great. It was awesome. I no regrets whatsoever. Now I continue to wear it for awareness because I visit the teenagers in different areas with their cancer, leukemia, whatever they may have. My mom died in 2005 from cancer, and when she was passing away and she was going through her treatment, I was like, Mom, let me shave my hair with you. And she was like, absolutely not, over my dead body. And that was something that she was like, you're not going to shave it. You're a girl. That's nothing we would do. But you know, it took me a long time to get through counseling, and I finally did it for the kids. And it was like, it had a triple meaning because I did it for both the boy and the girl, and I did it for my mom. And it was like all live on TV. And I was trying to hold back tears because everybody's asking me these questions. And I'm like, please don't ask the tearjerker questions, please. And I'm live, and I look out and everybody's crying. I'm trying to hold it together. And then right towards the end, they ask me like, what would your mom think? And I'm like, just bring out the tissues.
But I remember talking to you over the phone because I got to watch the video of this happening because you sent it to me.
Yeah.
And that is the best part about like doing this show is really just getting to know people and their stories and what they do. And so I watch all of this happen because you sent it to me. Yeah. And then I remember asking you, so what happened when you got out of the chair and you went into the bathroom and then you looked in the mirror for the first time? Talk to the listeners about that.
Woo. So my hair was down to my waist prior to shaving it. So when I went to the bathroom, I could, like, as I walked down the hallway to get to the bathroom, I could feel like the breeze on the back of my neck. I could feel like the air around my ears. And literally I went to the bathroom, and of course the whole camera crew and everybody is, you know, following me into the bathroom. And I just remember ducking down in the mirror and going, wow, I just did this. It was just like, holy crap. And then I had a chamber gala to go to that evening. Did not even think that it was my birthday. Didn't even think that we planned this event. Didn't even think that we even had the chamber gala that night.
And that you'd be bald.
Yeah, and that I'd be bald that same evening. And then
But we
so I get to the
that
chamber
carpet.
gala. Yeah, and we walked the red carpet. And I'm like, oh my God, first night out. Everybody's going to find out. Yeah, not even thinking it was live on TV, chamber gala, mayor, everybody there. Nate was at the gala.
We're all there, yeah.
So, Tammy, what was it like watching from the audience?
It was so emotional. To this day, I have held back tears just now because I'm telling you, it was life-changing to see that in the moment and everybody to come together. And I actually got to do multiple things with taking Levi toys. And funny story, small world, because her mom actually used to go to school with my daughter. So to reconnect on that level and to be able to love on that family, toys. I remember when we gave her the car, it's just, I can't even.
Yeah.
It's to this day. And that was years ago. Like I said, we will always remember that day. We will always remember the red carpet at the gala. And those are just little tiny golden nuggets of life that we get to tuck away in our heart that will never go dim.
And Nate, you were there as well.
You're correct.
And so what was that experience like for you?
It's just amazing. You see people that, you know, take issues in their own hands, become part of, you know, just get shoulder to shoulder with these problems instead of just watching them and feeling bad. They're taking action. It's just inspiring.
Making a difference, a huge difference.
A huge difference. I think that it's awesome, just Michelle, too, that it's such a stigma and a statement with, you know, women in hair, right? So it's like for a guy to shave his head, you know, no offense, Nate, but they shave their head and it is what it is. Also, the factor that the plan was, you know, for it to grow back and you were like, okay, but I can take this now and go these other places. I think that it is such a need, especially with the kids. with the kids and when they get cancer and they're in these facilities and the families, I mean, all the stuff from the Ronald McDonald House and all these different things, but, just the simple things as like not having a car, when you don't have a car and you have a child, it's just amazing what you guys do. And I think Tammy as well with multitude of different things. I think there's another event that's coming up. I think, Michelle, you sent it to me today.
Yeah, so the Black Heritage community in Plant City is having a annual award ceremony, and I'm going up for a humanitarian award.
Yes.
And
Excited
that's
about
so
that.
cool, isn't it, Tammy?
Very well
We'll be
deserved,
there.
too.
We're
Very
gonna.
well deserved.
She's gonna get the award. We already know, but we'll be there to send the picture later. But we're so proud. I mean, like that. If that just doesn't make you just burst, your heart has to be so warm and full. I mean, great things are happening.
I think it's really awesome too, we're going to talk after the break what Nate has done with the expansive amount of stuff that he's given back and just participated in the community. But Tammy, I think it's really great just the presence you have in Plant City, especially because it is a very small community and sometimes the little communities outside the big cities get forgotten about. So what does Plant City mean to you?
It's everything. So I grew up in Tampa, but I moved to the other side of 301 with my husband 17 years ago. And the last 17 years, the memories, the friendships, the relationships, everything, I absolutely adore Plant City. It is a community like none other. It's just like every day you get up, there's somebody else to help. There's some other place to go, new businesses, and just helping other people. We absolutely have hands down the best city ever. And so to be a part of that community, and we have the Strawberry Festival and all these different things that we get to do together as a community. And I'm just so blessed to be a part of it. I'm so glad that God crossed the path and my husband took me out there and we didn't come to Tampa. We went to Plant City and I'm so happy to be there. I absolutely love that city.
Well, if someone is looking to connect with Team Chansey, what is your phone number, Miss Tammy?
My phone number is 813-758-2728. We'd love to have them call.
When we come back after the break, we are going to go deep into Mr. Nate Davis with Florida Mortgage Firm. We're going to talk a little bit about financing, but we're also going to talk about what he's done in our community as well. We appreciate all of our listeners out there. Don't forget to download the iHeartRadio app. We'll catch you after the break.
Biggest win, I think, with the dual path and having these two models is that now we become a brokerage for everyone. No matter where you are in your real estate career or what your goals are today, maybe today you're not interested in recruiting or having a team, but then one day you wake up and you are. Well, if you're at the wrong brokerage to do that, you're locked in. Where in our model, we're not holding anyone hostage. We're not tying anyone in. You can move between the different comp plans and have that success and really achieve whatever your definition of success is under one brokerage platform, being LPT.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinervin with LPT Realty. We are bringing you the raw and real of life, business, and of course, real estate. Happy to have Tammy Chansey here with Team Chansey, Nate Davis with Florida Mortgage Firm, and of course, Michelle Valdez, who is an LPT agent and a bald title rep with NTS. If you look up hashtag bald title rep, she is all over the place. And you can find Miss Tammy Chansey giving back at Operation Pay It Forward, having a chili cook-off in Plant City, or doing something for someone. But I want to throw it back at you, Mr. Nate. Because I got a call from Tammy and she's gloating about you before the show. And she's like, Betsy, this is all the great things this person's done. She sent me 2 different emails. So you must be a great guy.
No, I don't know if I would go that far. I think
He's just humble.
I think I just got caught doing some things at the right time. So,
Well, I want to hear more about 2 things. People Magazine, Kelly Clarkson. What do you got for me?
So where all that took off from was basically the story started in 2017. Hurricane Irma hits, right? And, it hit the area pretty good. A lot of trees down, a lot of people without power. And I remember just kind of watching the news going, man, look how bad this is. And look at all these people having some difficulties out there. And a lot of people didn't have power in our community. And I remember my kids kind of watching me do that. And it occurred to me at that moment, I'm like, Nate, how these kids turn up is a lot of how they see you live. So I went and basically put up a social media post that says, I'm an army of one. I've got some chainsaws and we're going to go around and clean up the properties of first responders, because we knew that they were going to be working double and triple shifts, trying to make sure everyone else's power's back on. And they were going to come home to their houses still devastated for 2 or 3 weeks, because that's how long it's going to take them to get everything back in order. So I literally had my family out there, kids, friends, and I had their little butts dragging limbs, raking yards. I was out there chainsawing, and we cleaned up a lot of debris in these people's homes. And, that's kind of what we did for a number of days. And, it was a good experience. And that was the end of that. And then fast forward a few years ago, my brother, ironically, is in Texas. And there's a blizzard there where Texas froze. And he ended up grabbing some chainsaws, going to a small town called Harper, Texas. And he got dubbed as the Tampa Chainsaw Man because he was wearing a Tampa Bay Buccaneers hat. So they called him Tampa Chainsaw Man. His story goes viral, takes off. And those are two completely separate events. So now fast forward to Hurricane Ian, that hits. And then, I'm sitting there going, you know what, there's still some people that need some help, first responders, et cetera. So I said, well, we're going to do this again. We're not going to just sit on the couch this year and watch this. We're going to go ahead and get out and start helping people again. And lo and behold, People Magazine had called my brother and said, hey, Tampa Chainsaw Man, are you down there in Tampa helping out?
Tampa Chainsaw Man.
And he's like, no, I'm not. But ironically, my brother's actually down there doing it now. So I had went to a home of a firefighter. Their driveway was blocked by trees. I went and cut it all out. And I was in my truck driving to another place to help somebody else. And my phone rings on my truck. Bluetooth, answer, it's People Magazine. So I'm sitting there covered in sawdust, not even prepared, and they literally did an interview with me right
Did you say, hi, this is Nate?
Yeah, I was just like, hello. Like I had no clue who it was, So
I always tell my team, Nate, when they answer their phone, that's why you say, this is Betsy. Because you say hello and it's People Magazine. You better be prepared, Nate.
Yeah, well, I was. And I had sawdust all over my face, sweat everywhere, stinking, tired. And I was just driving, and they basically did an interview on the spot. And I thought, okay, well, that was interesting. Maybe they'll run a story or something. Maybe that's what their intention is. I had no clue what their intention was. Come to find out, they ended up putting the story in People Magazine. So my brother flew down a couple of days later and said, hey, listen, you got Plant City, orchestrated as far as doing the house like you did before. We should go down to South Florida and find these cities on the outskirts of Fort Myers Beach.
Yes.
Because all the media was in one place. We wanted to go where the media wasn't.
Right.
So we ended up going down to Port Charlotte, and we went to a local store in Plant City, and we bought 30 steel chainsaws, loaded them all up in the back of my truck, and drove down there and handed them out to a mission down there. And so it was a church down there where the Florida Southern Baptist Convention was set up. They were doing disaster relief. We put these chainsaws in the hands of their volunteers, and then we also went out and served on some teams with them doing chainsaw work. So you would think that I was like a lumberjack by trade, and I'm not. I'm in the mortgage business.
You're the chainsaw man.
Right, but all these interactions of assistance came through with the use of chainsaws. So People Magazine ends up running the story. Little did I know they was putting it in the kindest people of America. And I'm like, guys, I'm not the kindest person on the street. Okay,
But you are. You are.
They end up putting this article out. And I didn't know that's what it was for. Before they aired the article, or before they printed the article, we also get a phone call from the Kelly Clarkson Show. They said, hey, we've been released a story from People Magazine. We want to see if you and your brother will fly to LA and be on our show. And this is all like in a matter of so many days.
Are you covered in sawdust again?
Oh yeah. At this point, I'm just like jaws dropped, I'm just like, this is crazy. So we went and flew out and was on the show with, obviously Kelly Clarkson, Josh Duhamel, Sophie Bacon. I mean, it was very surreal, very surreal.
But I also think that it's just a huge testimony to why you serve without expectation.
Well, what we did is, and I know my brother's the same way when it comes to this, is that I believe that, the way we were raised in our belief system, our religion, is that you do good deeds and you don't promote it. Just do it, and you don't need to wave a flag about it, right? It's kind of internal struggle for us going, hey, look, this news story got picked up. And we can either just tell them all, no, we don't want to do interviews. No, we don't want to go on the Kelly Clarkson Show. Or we can use this moment to bring awareness to the Florida Baptist disaster team, right? And use that publicity to help fund their efforts.
But I think that that's what's important, is I do think that it's important when you choose to serve, without expectation, that at the end of the day, it's okay to be recognized and it's okay to celebrate your wins. I tell people all the time, like, as a leader, something I struggle with is filling my own cup. I give and I give and I give and I give, and then I have to replenish somewhere. And, I'm definitely plugged in at Crossover, Church in Tampa. And then obviously we can't say enough about LPT and Robert and Tracy and the executive team. And then being around good people like Michelle and Tammy, where you can pour into each other. But when you do something like that, like I would have never thought to buy 30 chainsaws.
Yeah.
I would have thought maybe of a food box or whatever.
Yeah.
I would have
Bottles of
never.
water.
Yeah, I would have never thought to buy 30 chainsaws. I would have never thought to shave my head. Those are things that I truly wanted to highlight today, because I do think that there's some people who give and donate, and that's awesome. And there's some people that make it a part of their career, like we said at the beginning. So I think for you, your brother, Tammy, Michelle, all the things you guys are doing, especially with Operation Pay It Forward and obviously with chainsaws.
I think something that's important.
That's pretty
too,
great.
And I know everyone in this room will agree, is that, what's really cool about this is whenever you help other people like that, you get more out of it than they do.
Absolutely.
You don't do it for that, but I'm telling you, your heart, your mind, your spirit, I'm telling you, it's such a very spiritual, religious experience for me. Like, just when you're not doing it for those reasons, but you go help someone in need, you're going to be touched as much as they are.
Well, during Christmas, me and Jen Spinelli went out downtown and gave away like hot and ready pizzas. And then we ordered these book bags with like hats and scarves and all that. And I hate being cold. Like, if you know anything about me, Nate, now you know, like, I hate it. And I lived in Illinois 30 years of my life. So I say to my friends all the time, when it's 60 here, I mean, I have a hoodie on. Like, I am a Floridian for real now. I remember going out, and if you remember how cold Christmas was. So this is Christmas Eve, night. And I'm looking at these people, and homeless people in Florida, like in Chicago, it's a big issue, right? Because people are really frozen. And this year, if you read the story in New York, like 30 people died. But in Florida, you have to remember, homeless people are not prepared for any type of frost because it's Florida. So these people were freezing. And just going back to what you said, Nate, about it really helping yourself, it's always an internal mind check, right? Like, hey, Betsy, you're mad when the AC is too cold. And these people are out on the streets in Florida not prepared and they're freezing. I can't agree with you more. When you serve without expectation and you volunteer, it benefits you twofold. And that's kind of what you're trying to do now, Tammy, with your team and bringing these agents in and just really pouring into them and giving back. I think it's amazing.
Thank you so much. And we're so proud that we can do it. And Michelle and I, we also had that experience at Christmas. We were able to go down. We had been in contact with a church down there, and to hear that the kids couldn't go out and play because there was debris everywhere, so it was unsafe. They didn't have towels. They didn't have blankets. They didn't have their own set of PJs. And here they're living on the beach and had an amazing life. And in a blink of an eye, they didn't even have their own towel to use, and the towels were being recycled, and kids had no toys. And so,
or clothes or pajamas.
They didn't have clothes. They didn't have pajamas. They asked for socks, when these kids would have probably been getting $2,000 worth of Christmas presents, the fun things. They wanted a set of pajamas and their own blanket. So it does,
touches your soul, man.
It does.
It's a reality check for all of us. It definitely.
And it could have been us. It
for sure
absolutely could have been us. But one thing that was cool, we did have 200 cards, and everybody in Plant City would come by our chili event and different events to sign those cards to say, we see you, we love you, we're praying for you. I mean, that's what Plant City community is about, is just letting them know how Plant City, our tiny little community, made such a difference for those people down there, made their Christmases. And when those moms just opened a card from somebody they did not know that just said, hey, we see you. You're not forgotten and you're loved. And that's what the Plant City community is all about.
Well, I know that I want to come to the next chili cook-off. We're going to take a quick break. I was out of town for that first one. Michelle was very upset about this. I didn't get to taste any chili, didn't get any like hot cocoa, none of the good like winter stuff that we normally don't get in Florida because it wasn't a winter, although it was this year. When we come back after the break, we're going to go into a deeper finance look with Nate Davis and also talk to Tammy Chancey a little bit about the real estate market. Please download the iHeartRadio app and we will catch you after the break. Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinervin, with Team Chancey in the studio today. Loving the fact that she brought her whole squad in here. We are with LPT Realty. We want to thank LPT Realty for making this show possible. We bring you the raw and real of life, business, and real estate. And if we have not gotten raw today, there is not really a dry eye in the studio. Tammy is sitting to my right, and I know you guys can't see her, but Michelle got a little emotional earlier, and then Tammy has these tears in her eyes. But what I love the most about Tammy and Michelle, and I'm getting to know Nate, is that Tammy got emotional when Nate was talking. And so for me, that just really shows who she is, because she was so happy to hear him talk about giving back in the community. And so the LPT culture and kind of what we've created and what we have in the studio right now is truly having other people win. allowing other people to succeed, being proud for things that other people have done. And that's why I said to you, Nate, it's okay to be recognized sometimes, because in reality, it gives you that momentum to say, yes, I'm doing something good. People see what I'm doing, and then also show other people what they can do. It's not that you're doing it for recognition, but now you get a little and a hug and a high five. And like what you were saying, Tammy, with those cards and different things like that, it lets people know. And if you noticed on the radio show for 4 months, I always said we're going to give a shout out to Fort Myers, Port Charlotte. We see you, we hear you, we love you. We're giving a shout out to you guys right now to know that you are still rebuilding. Coming from Team Chancey and myself, we want you to know that we're with you.
Yes.
I know what was important today for this group of people, since we are in 2023 now, is to talk from a finance perception, a real estate perception, and Michelle, any perception that you shall choose of your array of gifts, to just go around and talk about what we see in 2023, how you're mapping out that mindset, that vision, setting goals as a team lead, as a mortgage. Are you actually a broker, Nate? Can I call you that?
Yeah, we're a broker. I'm the
mortgage broker. Okay, as a mortgage broker, and then also Michelle coming from the title and real estate perception. So Tammy, we'll start with you. Let's start with, what is your plan and vision for 2023, and how are you helping your team get in the right mindset?
So the first of all is training and mindset, discipline, consistency, holding them accountable, having a vision and an actual guide of a plan. If you don't have a roadmap, I mean, we're so used to using our GPS, but in life, we don't have a GPS. If we don't write it down and write our goals, we have no direction. So having that, but being able to partner up with people like Nate, which we actually last month, we had a class about mindset and determination, and just 2023, everybody in 2023 in January, they're great about resolutions, but how do we get those to December 31st and say, hey, let's measure this. We crushed it. We crushed it. So I think sometimes we get too big and too broad, and instead of just focusing on a few things, we're business planning tonight. And one thing is, when I was looking over, I'm like, I feel like I'm listening to Nate and what he said, because, let's figure out, just simplify it. What's something we need to start doing that we haven't done? What's something we've done that's not been our best yes that we need to stop doing? And then what do we just need to do, make more of? So let's double up. So the market is shifting right now. So what worked in 2022 definitely isn't going to work in 2023. And even over the last few months, people I've been in the business with for years, I hadn't seen anything. So I don't want to fall back and go to another job. I'm going to make this work. So one thing I love about Nate is he has classes for us to partner up together so that we can be successful and implement things. And the going's getting tough, but with LPT, we're not going anywhere. So we're going to roll up our sleeves.
Yeah, I definitely think
and we're going to make it happen. And so having partnerships with other people, surrounding yourself with like-minded people. I love our LPT culture because we have the best people that are pushing us to be greater and hanging out with other people. And like we had Ted in the first set, like there's other people a part of this organization that we love and that we get to have a culture with, to have the same mindset, to be winners and make a difference. And I love that we're the disruptor, and RP is the best at that. And I absolutely love the changes that he's making, and he's not afraid to say, hey, that didn't work. We're going to try something else. And so I really look up to him for that. And so I'm excited to be a part of LPT, and it's going to make a difference in 2023.
Oh, I think so for sure. Michelle.
Hey, Betsy.
So 2023 goals, visions, process, mindset. Everyone's kicking off their year. We kind of went through like some weird stuff, right? Like 2021, 2022, now we're at 2023. I think every year is a year of opportunity, but I think that this year is a little different because I think that we are in a tough market. So what's your plan for 2023? And if someone is out there listening and maybe needs a plan or needs a word of advice, what do you have to say to them?
2023 came in less than 60 seconds. So a lot of people are like, oh, mindset. Yes, you have to have the mindset, but you have to be motivated to create habits to keep you going. So definitely partner up with a title company that is in your corner, that's going to help you with marketing, that's going to help you close your deals, that has the experience to get you all the way around. We're able to close in 46 states. Partner up with a title company that will help you close your transaction here, and then help your customer close in another state so they feel comfortable throughout the whole process. Not only that, Interest rates right now, yes, they seem high, but they're going to fluctuate. Just remember back in 1981, the interest rates were over 18% and people were still buying. So just because interest rates are fluctuating right now, don't let that scare you. And just remember to partner with someone that knows the industry and has been through the ups and downs. And as far as business plan, keep working on it. Stay positive. And just remember, create those habits that are going to keep you going, and don't be scared to ask for help. Partner up with your lender, partner up with your realtor, partner up with a title rep that knows what's going on, because that's how you're going to succeed.
Absolutely.
If anyone's looking to connect with you, Miss Michelle, could you give them your phone number?
Hey, those are secret digits, but I'm going to give them to you today. 863-852-6335, and that's on 24/7.
Don't forget that Michelle is a title rep and a realtor, so she knows all things facets of real estate. And also, Tammy, let me throw it back to you really quick, too. If someone wants to connect with you and Team Chansey, thriving realtors, definitely hone in on that Plant City, Lakeland, Polk market, because I know that a lot of people here want someone who's an expert in that. When you live it and breathe it, you are a native of it, and you can just thrive in that area. Give everyone your phone number really quick.
Sure. 813-758-2728. We'd love to help.
And Mr. Nate.
Yes, ma'am.
I feel like, I'm just making you tell all your gems. So I know that it's a touchy market for mortgage, and it is a different world to navigate, especially with real estate agents, mortgage professionals. We are weeding out a lot of people in our industry, which I am totally okay with.
Welcome.
And I'm sure you are as well.
Yep.
But you're someone that's here to stay, and you have been doing this a long time. So as far as like financing, if people are just kind of down and out about that, very concerned, what information do you have for them?
I mean, I think that a lot of times the headlines are just rates are this or rates are that, right? And I think what you have to do when you're determining is it the right time to buy for you, you can't just look at the rates and the prices. You got to look at your scenario. So if you're renting for $2,000+ a month, does that rate not being 4% versus 5 versus 6, how much of an impact does that have to you? Because what is your alternative, right? I also tell people, like, could you imagine if our grandparents didn't buy homes because rates were 16%? Do you know what a mistake that would have been? So you got to look at the grand scheme of things, prices plus interest rates and the access of that. So right now, prices have come down some. And I think that has more than offset some rates. Sometimes I ask a consumer, you would have bought this home for $500,000 last year happily if the rates were in the 3s. But now that it's, substantially off, like you look at the payment, it's still the same payment. I think you got to look at the whole picture and look at how it pertains to you, your family, your budget, and make a wise decision for yourself. We're also seeing a lot of concessions. Concessions are a massive blessing for families. They're able to get in these homes with a substantial amount less out of pocket now than they would have a year or so ago. So we're seeing a lot of massive opportunities. I think the smart buyers, the ones that are really, looking at it from the grand scheme of things, not just the interest rate, right? But look at the whole picture. I think they're going to look back on these times right now and say, you know what, I'm glad I was bold during some uncertain times. I know most of the business moves I've made, I tell people all the time, every home I've ever bought, I was nervous. Every big move I ever made, when I asked my wife when I first met my wife, I was nervous. Any big positive move in my life, I was nervous. So don't take and interpret nerves as the wrong thing to do. You got to look at your own scenario. You got to look at your own, circumstance.
Well, I'm definitely happy that you came and shared advice and wealth today. I loved hearing your story about People Magazine and Kelly Clarkson. That is amazing. If anyone wants to connect with you as a mortgage professional, can you give them your phone number?
Of course, yeah. So our line is 813-707-6200. And the website is flmortgagefirm.com. That's flmortgagefirm.com.
We appreciate all of our listeners today and everyone out there. There is unfortunately just not enough time. I could spend time over time with these people in the studio today. We appreciate you, Miss Michelle, for coming in.
Thank you, Betsy, for having us.
And Miss Tammy Chansey with Team Chansey.
So much.
We appreciated having you here today. So glad that you brought these people together. And Mr. Nate, I will not forget the chainsaw story, my friend. 30. Right. What was the cost of 30 chainsaws, by the way? I was thinking that in my mind. Like, chainsaws aren't a cheap piece of equipment.
They're not. It was a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
Well, we are just thankful that all of you guys do such great things in our community in here. We love that. I love bringing people together and kind of being a catalyst and connector. If anyone out there wants to connect with Mr. Nate Davis, Team Chansey, or Michelle Valdez, please feel free to do so. We want to thank LPT Realty for putting on this show, and we love bringing you the raw, real of life, business, and real estate. We will see you next weekend.
Thanks for listening to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast. powered by LPT Realty, Real Estate Reimagined. We hope this episode motivated and inspired you. And don't forget to rate and review us. Thanks again for listening to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast with Betsy Tinervin.